Okay, we're here. Day 3 is about to be in the books. I don't know what's going on with this up here, but you know, that's the whole point of these videos. It is just supposed to be me and all my glory, raw, unedited, point of view, slightly offensive sometimes, mostly educational, funny. Yeah. Anyway, so here we go. Yesterday we talked about unrealistic expectations. Today, that was a really long pause. Wow. Okay. So unrealistic expectations. Today we're going to talk about realistic expectations, and we're going to have some funny stories for us at the end. For us, I'm talking like I'm listening, but okay. So some funny stories at the end. So realistic expectations with trials and getting these horses home. I feel like a lot of people, first of all, try horses off of their wants, not their needs. And that is very scary, because when you have somebody that, you know, wants to try that gray, and I mention that because everybody wants to search off of color. No, that's not a thing. I will try to definitely get you one that fits and is gray, but anyways, color racist with horses. Definitely called some people out with that, but okay, continuing. So I don't know why I'm turning this direction. Oh my gosh, what is with me today? So they come try a horse because it's what they want, not what they need. And again, terrifying, right? So let's just say that trial actually goes well, okay? And they really like it, and it's greener than probably what they needed, but they really like the horse and they end up buying them, okay? And I can only do so much. If I like the home and I think they're gonna take good care of them and they rode them well there, I mean, I really can only do so much. I can't like dig in and interrogate and investigate how they're going to handle them at home, you know? I try to set them up for success as much as possible and hope that it's going to be a home that takes good care of them. But hey, I can't control if you guys can't ride to save your life. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. That is the nicest way I can possibly put it. And these videos, I do not have to watch my tongue. I get to say what I want to say because I never get to say what I want to say. So they get the horse home, and it's not behaving the same way that it was at my barn. And there are so many things to that. So we're going to get a little educational here. First of all, it is not as simple as just he comes to a new barn, or she, and is the same horse that I had. Just like a human, if they go somewhere new, they're going to be a little bit different. It's going to take time. And I feel like we barely give people the benefit of the doubt lately. So I don't know why I expect people to give horses the benefit of the doubt. Like, you didn't buy a robot. You didn't buy something that is just, this is the way it's going to be always and forever. It is an animal with its own mind. And you have to also think about when you're buying a mare too. They are going to have their cycle, and they're not always going to feel the best. And for a gelding too, like, they don't always feel up to par. You don't know how their day went. What if they didn't make any new friends at their new barn? Like, come on, guys. So you have to think about feeding program. And I'm not talking about just feeding the same grain. I am talking about, or if you're transitioning, how much are you feeding? When are you feeding? How often are you feeding? What kind of hay are you feeding? Does their stomach feel weird now because of all these changes? Did they make any new friends? What are the friends that are in the stalls next to them like? Do they have nervous energy or different kinds of energy? Is that one are they keeping them up all night? Are your barn lights on all night? Are there things going on that is keeping them up? What is their turnout schedule like? Who are they next to? Do they have a friend? Do they not have a friend? Whether they were used to one or the other. What is that friend like? What are the horses that are in the turnout next to them like? What is their turnout schedule? How long are they out for? Are you turning them out before you're riding them, or are they going out after your rides? These are all important things that you need to think of. Did you keep in mind the kind of riding program that we had them in? What kind of bit are you riding them in? What direction are they facing? And yes, I know that sounds crazy, but it is a real thing. I have literally witnessed it happen with my barn that had stalls on both sides facing different direction. One could literally watch the sunset and one couldn't. And I moved a horse to another stall, completely different horse. I have also moved a horse to another stall literally just 2 slots down, and they act completely different. So that's why I say, who are they next to? Are they next to a mare in heat? Are they next to a stallion? Are they next to a bitchy gelding? These things all make a difference. So Then also their stall. I have horses that absolutely can't stand when their stall is messy and it will upset them and they'll pace about it. I know that sounds crazy, but it's happened. When it comes to horses, I never put it past them, ever. So all these things make a difference. We haven't even talked about the riding. Then you get to the actual riding part. I'm sorry, sweetheart, I can't control if you literally can't ride. Like, I don't know how to tell certain people that, and that sounds really terrible, but sometimes it really is just that. It is rider error, and it sucks to be on my side and go, that horse is so wonderful, and I'm just watching it go down the drain. And sometimes it's the trainer. I've also, like we talked in my other video, sometimes the rider themselves is good, but the trainer is teaching them the most awful things of how to handle situations, or the trainer gets on and absolutely just like ruins everything. So then, I'm getting the call that the horse is not behaving this way. He's not the same horse. And then, they're trying to say you're fishy and you drugged it or you prepped it and this and that, right? So no, literally in my contract, I have it that I can't promise what this horse is like literally from the moment it leaves my barn. What if the trailer ride was traumatizing? That has happened. I have had a horse show up to someone and its tail was completely demolished at the top. And it didn't look like it just rubbed it. It looked like something happened because it was like skinned at the top. You don't know what happened there. I mean, humans have PTSD. It takes one event and then we have PTSD and it completely changes our whole personality. So there are so many things that go into effect here. And I feel like nobody gives them the benefit of the doubt or really thinks about these things. And some of you really do. I mean, I have some friends on here and some clients that are just so excellent. And I'm going to name one of them, actually 2, 3, Melissa, Vanessa, and Rebecca. Those 3 right off the top of my head. And I have some wonderful other people, but they are the first 3 that come to mind because I know that they put so much effort into their horse and give them so much benefit of the doubt. And if they need time off, they're going to give them extra time off and really think about their emotions as well. Not just, oh, well, they vet fine, so they should be fine. And we're feeding them, so they should be fine, right? So again, credit to tons of other people, but those are my first people that come to mind. So now we're going to go towards the funny side, right? So that's happening, and sometimes there's just no answer, and I'm just the bad guy, and it's really funny when then like a month or so down the road, that horse is completely fine, and they have figured it out, and it's like, how about you just didn't give him enough time? You brought him home, and you rode him immediately. Where was the settling time? And I'm gonna name drop again, Andrea. I will give her the credit from here to the moon and back, because when new horses come in, I am nothing but excited to play with them. I want to play with them, and because I'm in sales, yes, I am going to ride them pretty immediate. I'm going to give them a day or 2 to settle, but I'm going to ride them because I need to know what their worst is. I need to know what, at their very worst, they are not settled in. I've not prepped them. I need to know, is it a buck? Is it a rear? Is it a spook? Or are they going to be perfect? I need to know those things, right? So I don't suggest it to anybody, but for what I do, you guys want me to do that because that's the best way I can tell you what the worst is going to be like at a show, at a new place. But Andrea is amazing with giving these horses downtime, like doing the groundwork, letting them settle, then adding in some lunge work, and then getting on them. Like 2-3 week, if not more, process before she sits on them. Girl, I hand it to you. I couldn't do that. I would be dying to play with them and know what they are. But I commend that so much. So did you give the horse enough time to settle into their new life? Like, you barely know them yourself. You don't know what their quirks are. So for a funny story, because I have a few of these, but the one that comes to mind is, everyone knows, or I assume most of you know, my best friend and business partner, Megan, and her personal horse at the time, RIP Sirius, they came to visit me in Florida, right? So she's in Georgia, they came to visit me in Florida, and now, at the time, I was at a different property than I am now. And that property was pretty tough. I mean, it was multiple different barns. We had standard breds, like trotters literally on a track next to the rings. We had so much going on. It was bananas, right? So he came here, but they had traveled all over, I mean, and shown, and who would have thought? So they come here, and he was a psychopath. Like, her and I were on the phone before this video, and he was an absolute psychopath here. Like, murderer, crazy, couldn't hold his shit together. I mean, she would ride him in a hackamore at home, or a hack-a-bit, I think sometimes, and no, hackamore. And here he literally had to go in a hack-a-bit, and it's crazy because that horse literally would go in a hackamore at home and then had to go, or in a snaffle, and then had to go in a hack-a-bit. And I'm not saying a hack-a-bit is bad, but like, we had to double down on the enforcement because he was also a sensitive Nelly, so you couldn't just, you know, put a rougher bit or something, but not that the bit solves everything. But he was like out of his mind and a little out of control. And Megan's a fantastic rider and can hold her own, but we were like, what the actual heck? And he was like that the whole week we were here because we thought, you know, okay, he needs to settle in. The whole week he was besides himself. And they had traveled to multiple shows, and he was like off the trailer into the show ring kind of guy. Yeah, he was more forward and jumpery, but still, right? So completely different horse. And then he goes back to Georgia and literally right back to that horse again, back to the normal quiet guy that he was. And we really sat there because we were doing a lot of sales at the time together and going, this is literally what happens to people. We just witnessed it happen between two friends that trust each other with her own personal horse coming to my property. And yeah, again, it is scarier, but we did it at quiet, you know, we rode him at quieter times and whatever. It was no different than going to a big showground. And he was, if we would have sold him, so she would have sold him to me, I would have said, what the hell did you sell me, you fishy ass person? This horse is a murderer. Like, true story. You know, there's just no other way to say it. And then following that, years to come, we had a few sale horses that transferred between her and I, either started with her and came to me or vice versa, and had the same thing happen. I had a horse with me. This is going to sound bananas, but I had a horse with me that was having like some really slight soundness issues that like no one could figure out where it came from. And then it went to her, and literally for like from the day one was completely sound. Day one off the trailer. Like, you can't tell me that she did something different. Day one off the trailer, literally perfect with her. And I was like, what the heck? Horse stayed sound for months and months and months, and then eventually got sold and literally passed a beautiful vetting. But what the heck was that? And on that, I had a horse that used to literally fake soundness with me. Vegas, I remember him. This cute little appendix, scopy little thing. You would have never believed that he could jump the way he did. And he literally would fake soundness. I would watch him playing in the paddock and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I would pull him out and he would literally three-legged be lame. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I would put him back in. And we played this game for a little while until I eventually caught on and would get on and kind of kick his butt a little bit. I don't know what that was, but kick his butt. And then he would magically just be sound. And I'm like, what the actual hell is happening to my life right now? So then we had another few horses. So we had one that was with her, and first ride, she was like, Britt, what did you buy? Oh my God. And what's funny is, Annika, you own him. We're talking about Tristan right now, formerly known as Doughboy. When he was with Megan, was Captain Strangeo. Like, went literally like a jiggy, I don't even know what's the word I'm looking for, like standard bred. And he was like, and that's the way he would go around. And I was like, oh my God, put a martingale on that thing. What the heck is actually happening? That is terrifying to watch. First ride at my barn, I was like, you know what, send him to me, because she didn't really have a lot of time to like really work with him. So I was like, send him down to me, I'll play with him. So she sends him down to me, completely different horse. Like, super quiet, such a pretty mover, going long and low. And I called her and was like, you are not gonna believe what just happened. And he stayed like that. He had his salty moments because he's young, and you know, that was just his personality, and I'm pretty sure it still is his personality till this day. But like, what is that? And then one more. So then I had another one that was at my barn and was just actually Andrea has him now. This is Zazu, right? So Zazu was with me and was like dead kicking quiet, on the buckle, just so easy. And then he goes to Megan's barn and she's like I thought you said you sent me dead kicking quiet. Nope, he goes to her barn and is like going like a giraffe, spooking at everything. Meanwhile, you guys know my property literally lines up to the road. Like, we have honking, we have the craziest stuff. We have landscapers with plastic on the back of the trucks going by. This horse did not care. I literally have a video of trotting him and somebody honks, like super loud. Did not care. Like, he could sit in his stall for a week and get pulled out and was the same horse. He goes to Megan's and literally Grumpy McGrumperson and spooking at absolutely everything. Like, she FaceTimed me and I laughed on the video because she was like, literally, look what you sent me. Like, this is what you sent me. And I laughed and he spooked at my laugh on FaceTime. Like, really? Like, radar ears, apparently. And it just made me laugh. And the whole point of all these stories is that this is between partners, best friends, like, we trust each other. And I would literally swear on my life, I sent you a dead quiet horse, and then that's not how they were there, and then vice versa. And you're just horses. That's literally the word at this point, horses. There's no explanation for it sometimes. So sometimes it's not we're being fishy. They just are the way they are. And sometimes, hey, maybe they don't like you. There's that too. Like, I've accepted that. Sometimes I think, okay, maybe that horse just didn't like me, or maybe it just didn't like Megan. It's not a personal thing. Maybe they didn't like your barn. Maybe they didn't like the way you looked at them, or I don't know. Maybe there's a horse on your property that looks at him funny, or took his girlfriend, or maybe he knew her in a past life, or I don't know. Maybe she cheated on him in a past life, and so that's why he doesn't like that mare across the way, and that's why he acts like an absolute ass. I don't know. That would bring up some feelings for me too. So my point is that you have to be realistic when you get a new horse home, that they aren't going to always just snap into what you're expecting and what you bought. And sometimes when they act completely different, it isn't even that you didn't do the right things. You maybe gave them all the settling time and you did everything exactly that same way, but they might be testing you. I had a mare that I sold that when she got to her new owners, this was Rue. I think, yeah, they kept the name Rue. And they're doing fantastic. I love them. But when they got her, she was... There are no words for how she was with them. And she was like that with us in the beginning too. And then she settled in. So I had a feeling she was going to repeat the behavior. And she did. She repeated that same behavior. You had to win her over. And then once they did, I mean, I assume I'm not with them daily, but, you know, they look like they've been kicking butt and doing fantastic. So you have to be realistic. You have to be open-minded. Don't be quick to assume. Give things time. It might be you. Let's remember that. It might be you. Like, you know, the saying, it's not you, it's me. Use that for your horse too. It's not you, it's me. It literally might be you. So these are all the things to keep in mind. And on that exact note, I want to finish this with why then when you get a horse and, you know, maybe it doesn't work for you. Maybe you bought something that was too green for you and you don't have the proper trainer, you don't have the proper program or the facility or the finances to keep them in the training program that they need because you bought something you wanted but not needed, right? So when that happens and you realize that it's not going to be a good fit, it's okay to accept that, because sometimes it's not going to be a good fit. Sometimes you brought that horse home and even though maybe it was exactly what you needed, or again, you bought it off of a want and not a need, it's okay to say this isn't going to work. But let me explain why I can't resell from your barn. And this upsets a lot of people. This has happened a few times, and it's not me being, once again, the word fishy. There's a good reason behind it. So this is a good opportunity for me to put that out there. You take that horse home, right? You've completely changed my entire program of how I'm doing it. Or maybe you kept the program the exact same, but he's acting different, or she. I no longer can vouch for that horse. And I know that's like, well, if you vouch for it so that I would buy it, okay. But that was in my program. I could vouch for how he is in my program. And again, that's why I state I can't promise how he's going to be with you. So once that horse has left my barn, this is also why I don't do take-backs. I will take the horse back into my program. You can pay for his upkeep, and I can then help sell him for you from there. But I don't do takebacks and just give you your money back. And I also don't do, well, can you just sell him from my barn for me? Because now I can't vouch for that horse. I don't know what you've done in even a few days. I don't know what you've done. I don't know if something's happened to them. I don't know if you've changed something and they've drastically changed under saddle. And just like I witnessed with horses between Megan and I, they could be a completely different horse somewhere else. And I don't know how they're now going to be somewhere else. And so when they were in my hands, I could vouch for how they are with me and say I can't promise that. But doing it from your barn, and I don't know how you're going to handle the situation. There's so many question marks with that. So again, you can send the horse to me, you can ship it to me, and you can pay for the upkeep, and I can then sell from there for you. But I can't do it from your barn. And sometimes what I want to say to somebody is, you can't ride, and that's why. And the videos that you're going to use are not going to be appropriate. And yeah, that's just what it is. And no, you can't use my videos, because when you then sell that horse and they don't go the way that was in the videos that you said they go that way, a lot of people recognize my location and they're going to reach out to me because it's happened before. And then they're going to ask me about it. And I'm going to say, I don't know what to tell you. And then I might be the person who looks bad, because then that person's going to say that I sold them a horse that wasn't fitting. And then now it's just this bad circle, when that's not what the original story was. So I am always happy to help, but there's a specific way that I'm able to help. And it honestly is just out of self-protection and also what's best for the horse. So yeah, I have basically come to accept that horses are just weird, such as people. And what is this hair doing? Has it been like that whole time? Wow. And you just have to give things time. Some things just need time, and everything will work out if it's meant to. And it is okay to have been wrong. It is okay to resell that horse and try again. But you'd really need to not be quick to judge and not quick to assume and get hurtful, because then you look stupid, because then you try to go after somebody about it, and then you sell the horse and the horse is doing fantastic in somebody else's barn, the same way that I sold it to you. And obviously the horse just didn't like you, but you don't want to admit that because you're salty. And yeah, we're talking about a very specific situation here, but never mind that. So yeah, then that happens and then you look stupid. So yeah. But I suggest that when something is going different, ask questions. Let's try to troubleshoot, because I'm always happy to troubleshoot if somebody is open-minded. How can I help you get that horse into the best situation so that you're going to get that same, and I hate to use the word product, but product that I had? So yeah, but that covers my topic for today, and I'm really excited to make the next video. I'm extra tired today, and I think that kind of is coming through the video, but we're here. Day 3 is in the books, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.